What's going on, Jerome's? Today, your Vikings start the first of 2 days of joint practices against the Tennessee Titans ahead of their Saturday night preseason game at historic U.S. Bank Stadium. We got 10 things to watch for. First of 2 weeks of joint practices. Next week, they're squaring off against the Cardinals here in the friendly confines as well. But for the Titans, 10 things to watch for. Number one, Kevin O'Connell versus Mike Vrabel. So it is a little bit of old school versus new school. Mike Vrabel is definitely an old school style coach. He wants to play defense. He wants to run the ball with King Henry, and he wants the quarterback not to make mistakes. And Vrabel is very much like Zimmer 2.0. Vrabel is a younger version of Zimmer. That's exactly what's going on. So you're going to see the demeanor. It's a little bit different on the sidelines. And not saying one is right, not saying one is wrong, but it's really fun seeing the compare and contrast. Got a lot of respect for Mike Vrabel and company over there with Tennessee. Next up, number two, I would just see Flores versus the Titans offense, where you know the Brian Flores, he's just champing at the bit. And Wes Phillips remarked that he's sort of tired of facing Flores every single day because not only is Flores just getting after it and bringing exotic blitzes and looks and bluffs and feints and all that stuff, but it's going to be interesting to see him operate against an offense that doesn't see him every day, right? So the Tennessee Titans offense, led by Ryan Tannehill, they got Malik Willis, they got Will Levis, etc. They just signed DeAndre Hopkins, who, I don't know, is this going to end up like when they signed Julio Jones and like when they signed Andre Johnson and when they signed Randy Moss? I mean, Tennessee is where wide receivers go for the golden years. That's about it. Treylon Burks, I have a lot of respect for. I think that he is a stud. Offensive line. And also their tight end, Okonkwo, is always seen as the bust-out candidate for this year in fantasy. And, of course, you got Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. So, I mean, the offense will be there, but can Flores get himself a decent pass rush? Can they shut down the run? What can they do to disrupt the Titans' offense, the first through third teams? I think they can do a lot. Next up, number three. So the Vikings against the Titans D. Now, Vikings offense was top 10 last year, and I got to admit, it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. Even though they said goodbye to Dalvin Cook, I think Addison is a clear upgrade over Thielen at this stage of their career. Hockenson, TBD if he's going to be out there with his ear infection issue, but the offensive line, Brian O'Neill is back doing team drills, so they may be reunited, and it feels so good. And defensively, Tennessee was weird last year. So they were middle of the pack. They were 14th in yards allowed, or points, one of the two. They're about middle of the table, but they were number 1 in the NFL against the run, and they were number 32 against the pass. So, yeah. But will the Vikings be able to run against this front? Because obviously what Vrabel wants to do is shut down the run, and Jeffrey Simmons is a bad dude. Jeffrey Simmons is that dude up front. I mean, the front seven is relatively solid. So will the Vikings and their new revamped wanting to run the ball offense with Josh Oliver, with CJ Ham back in the mix, will it be able to go forward? Will Madison and Ty Chandler and whoever running back TBD be able to get some yards up front? Will be interesting to see. Next up, number 4. Darrisaw versus Harold Landry III, right? So Christian Darrisaw is going to make the leap. He's going to have to fare well against good competition and respect. Harold Landry III, the pride of Boston College, is up there amongst some of the really solid edge rushers who is able to get after the quarterback's ass. So it's going to be a big time matchup, both in team drills, 11-on-11, 7-on-7, as well as straight up 1-on-1. Let's go. It's going to be really fun. This is why joint practices are so cool, man. Next up, number 5 thing to watch. The interior offensive line against Jeffrey Simmons. Like we said, Jeffrey Simmons is, for my money, one of the more disruptive defensive interiors in the National Football League. He got paid justifiably. Jaleel Johnson, revenge game. There we go. But the Vikings interior offensive line, much maligned from last season. And with Bradbury, Ezra, and Ed Ingram, I mean, they got to be able to get things done because as they go, so goes the entire Vikings offense, to be frank. So being able to maybe not shut down, but at least get a couple of stalemates with some of the best interior pass rushers in the league would be nice to see. Next up, thing number 6 to watch. Addison versus the Titans cornerbacks. Now, Addison every single day of practice, put on a show. Same thing in Seattle, although that one catch technically didn't count, but just seeing him operate against Christian Fulton, the pride of LSU, Sean Murphy Bunting came over from the Bucks, Roger McCreary from Auburn. It's going to be a really fun mix. Same thing with JJ and KJ and all the other receivers too. Elijah Molden's in that mix. There you go. Yeah, Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech, except he's on the pup. It's unfortunate. Like, he had a really bright career, except injuries are just really taken away, man. Take away. But yeah, I want to see Jordan Addison light up the Tennessee Titans cornerbacks. A lot like JJ lit up the Titans secondary when he was finally allowed to play as a rookie back in 2020. Next up, he basically just ended Jonathan Joseph's career. Next up, number 7. Kirk and KJ continue the show. So even though Flores and his defense have gotten some really great days against the offense, I mean, Kirk and Justin Jefferson, that connection is there. It is a highlight. And we said we want to see how Addison operates against the secondary. What about Justin Jefferson? What about the best wide receiver in the National Football League? And like we said, last year the Titans were 32nd in the league against the pass. So I think this may be a nice couple of days, maybe a bit of a confidence booster, these next 2 joint practices heading into the preseason game on Saturday, where maybe the Vikings passing game just really dials things in and crosses the T's and dots the lowercase J's and goes from there. Next up, thing number 8 to watch, King Henry and Tyjae Spears. So in joint practices, even with running backs, there isn't necessarily tackling to the ground, but the Titans want to run the ball, and King Henry is still that dude. I mean, how many more years does the power back have left? I guess we'll see, but I'm really interested with Tyjae Spears, where I loved him coming out of Tulane. I wouldn't have minded picking him up at all, but he ended up going to the 3rd round to the Titans, and he's a fun change of pace back. I think that he does have a chance to hit a couple of home runs, and that's important, where can the Vikings and the revamped run defense led by nose tackle Kyrus Tonga, as well as Ivan Pace Jr. and Hicks, will they be able to shut things down? Tyjae Spears, will he be able to get some wiggle room on the outside or on screens as a receiver? I think that this is going to be a really big practice, couple practices for Ivan Pace Jr. Like, if Pace Jr. wants to come out and start as a rookie, he's going to have to show well here. And also, I would love to see Asamoah out there if he's healthy and good to go, because I think that will be really big for him as well. Next up, thing to watch, number 9. Will Jaren Hall rise up? Now, Jaren Hall has been a little hot and cold, was sort of very tepid against the Seattle Seahawks, but a lot of that was offensive line, but no excuses. And coming in against this defense, I mean, they still have some very solid names with the 2s and the 3s, but I do think that he does have an opportunity to come in and make a couple plays, make a couple throws, and look, sort of calm things down. And back in the home confines, first game at US Bank Stadium, I think that he has a chance with in that second half to really put up some numbers and get some confidence going, both with himself as well as the fan base. Next up, number 10. The pass rush against the Tennessee Titans offensive line. So the Vikings pass rush, yes, you know who it is. Daniil Hunter, Davenport, Wanham, Patrick Jones second, Carter second, Luigi Villain, etc. And like we said, it's beyond the 11-on-11 and 7-on-7. It's the 1-on-1 spots, man, where, I mean, Andre Dillard, didn't work out in Philadelphia. And now he ends up in Tennessee trying to replace Taylor Lewan. And I like Dillard back at Washington State. It just didn't work out. Pete Skoronski, the first-round pick from Northwestern. Is he going to be a guard? Do they want to kick him out at tackle? TBD. And they have invested in the offensive line. I mean, Dylan Radunz from NDSU is currently on the PUP. You got Zach Johnson, you got Chris Hubbard coming in from the Browns. So, I mean, they got some names out there, but just showing up and showing out, getting after it in one-on-ones as well as in team drills. Would love to see that from the Vikings pass rush. And lastly, Bonusio. Malik Willis versus Will Levis. That's right. So Will Levis, remember, was going to be the cat's ass. It was going to be the Vikings' future franchise quarterback. Didn't work out the pass on him. Tennessee got him in the second round. But reports are that Malik Willis, last year's third-round pick, who played in some tough spots as a rookie, is looking pretty damn good. Now, I would love if Will Levis rose up and Malik Willis was sort of like this, because, hey, how about you leave Malik in the Twin Cities for our finest, I don't know, Jordan Hicks or a 7th-round pick, whatever. But, watching, because that is a legit quarterback battle, because not only for quarterback 2, but potentially quarterback of the future, as Tannehill, the former Texas A&M wide receiver, look it up, is really starting to age out. Oh no, we lost it. But that's it. That's 10, but really 11 things to watch for Vikings-Titans joint practices this week. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.